If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man has closed himself up till he sees all things through narrow chinks of his cavern. William Blake. In this week's episode, we are talking about dream money and what it takes. The fact that you are a powerful creator, and in order to make dream money, you need to master your reality. Hi, I'm Tracy from the Money Boss Show. I'm here to help you step into your personal power, make more money, and build your dream life. Because you can. And we're here to create a money revolution. So, like it, subscribe, and let's do this. You are a powerful creator. You may not just know it yet because they've hidden just a few important things from us, probably everything. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about three main things. And the first one is we don't see things how they are, we see them how we are. We create our reality, and I'm going to talk about the reality creation framework. And then number three, if we want to be the master of our destiny, build our dream life, make good money, we need to step into our creatorship. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So let's get started. We don't see things how they are, we see them how we are. And that is why I led with that quote. For the longest time, I had the first part of that quote up on my fridge, and I understood it then how important perception is to creating our reality. But with each and every passing day, I realize that all this game is, this game of life, of creating our reality and the results that we have right now and the results that we want, it is a game of knowledge, awareness, consciousness, perception. Knowledge, having the right knowledge. Awareness, being aware that this is an option for us, that you don't need to win the lottery or be born to the genetic lottery, a millionaire. You don't have to. The whole game of life is an awareness game and a perception game. Okay. So that is the number one thing. I remember being very young in my entrepreneur career. I was young and ambitious, and that is probably what kept me going. I mean, ignorance is bliss, right? When you have all that energy and you're bound and determined to live life on your own terms, that is worth so much right there. It keeps you going. But even I didn't understand. I thought you had to be special, born to the right person, be like an amazing genius in your mind to make good money and have your dream life. And little by little, as I got new awareness and knowledge and started to see things different and raise my consciousness, we'll review that term right away, I started to realize that it's just a game of the mind. And the reason you, me, whoever out there isn't living their dream life, like I wasn't, I am now, but if you're not living your dream life, it's not because there's something wrong with you. You just have an outdated operating system up here. It's as easy as that. And you're like, no, Tracy, no, those people that are rich and like popular and influencers and making a lot of money, they're special. They are not. Trust me. When you get into the game and you start to know people with money and you start to make money, you just realize everybody is a human being. And while some may start off with money, some may start off in worse, horrible conditions, our starting place is our starting place. And it's only that. It is not a life sentence. It's just where we start the game of life. Okay? So many people have gone from like abuse and neglect and poverty and terrible things to go and create wealth. Now, riddle me this. If that silver spoon child is said to have it all made for them, why do so many of them end up blowing all their money and ending up in bad spots? See, there is no rhyme or reason. Your starting place is your starting place. It may give you a leg up on getting more knowledge if you're born to somebody rich, and maybe a little bit of a better mindset. But at the end of the day, that rich kid or the poor kid, they both either need to create their reality or not, or bump along as a victim of life. So let's go back to perception and that quote. It is literally the answer. We just clog our our mindset, the way we see things because of how we were raised, and then it tends to put a filter over how we think we can achieve, what we think our possibility is, what the world is like. All of that comes from our childhood, and I'll go into that in a little bit more. But here's a few powerful examples that we don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are. In here, based on past programming, not what is actually happening in the moment. Because if we were all responding to what was happening in the moment, we would all react the same way. But no, we're seeing things that are happening in life right now, and then going into the archives of our mind and our thoughts and our beliefs and our past experiences and saying, what does this mean for us? And somebody with this programming is going to come to a different conclusion, and somebody over here is going to see it totally different. Examples. So let's say you are watching a horror movie. Okay. And for example, there's two people, two friends on the couch. One just loves horror movies and they convince their friend to watch it. They love it. They get a kick out of it. They're not scared. But here, let's say the friend on the couch just about got jumped in the dark and they're scared of darkness. They're scared of people attacking them. The movie's going to play, and those two same people are watching exactly the same thing, having a different experience. The one that loves it is getting a kick out of this. They're on edge. They're like, oh my God, I wonder when that guy's going to come out of the trees and attack, or whatever the movie is. And then this one is reliving the trauma of being jumped and assaulted. They are both watching the exact same movie. They are both feeling, thinking, and they're going to come away from that movie with two totally different outtakes. This one's going to be like, that's the best movie ever. It got my heart racing. It was so much fun. Didn't you love it, Susie? And Susie's like, oh my God, that's like what happened to me. I got jumped, and she's horrified. Maybe she even walks away and can't finish the movie. Isn't that strange? They're not reacting to what's on the screen, so to speak. They're reacting to what's on the screen based on the filter of their mind, their thoughts, their beliefs, their past experiences, their personality, their get up, their fears. Not what happens on the screen. It's what we're making it to mean up here. Isn't that nuts? When you start to think of things this way, and these are the tiny nuances of becoming a boss of your life, these things that people don't talk about. Here's another example. Two people in the house, let's say a dad and a daughter. Two people wake up to a brand new day. They look outside, it is cloudy and raining. They check the forecast, it's supposed to pour all day. Two people looking at the same reality. Dad is a farmer and the fields have been dry. And if they don't get a rain within today, tomorrow, this week, the crops are done and they're losing their shirt. Hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and they might even go bankrupt. Guess how that dad feels about that rain and that storm. Now, let's take the teenager, boy or girl, whatever it is. They had a fun day at the beach with their friends planned, and now it's ruined. Their life is ruined. It's going to be over. It is horrible. Perception. That farmer, the dad, the perception of that rain is the crops need it. This just saved our bacon. The daughter or son, teenager, operating in their own little world. looks at that rain and says, it ruined my life. Dad says, this saved our lives. It saved the farm. Same situation, two different outlooks. And here's another one. Make it a little more real that the world that we live in today, getting laid off. Two people get laid off. One girl is horrified, horrified. Her world is ended. She loves this job. It's all it was. She never wants to change because she hates change. And it's just the worst thing that ever happened to her. Her life is over, even though she's, let's say, 32 years old with a whole career in front of her. Now, let's keep it equal. The next 32-year-old gal in the office does the same job with the same company. And then she realizes this is job. There's a lot of jobs out there. I'm a smart person. I can get a new job. To be honest, I didn't like this job anyways. So I'm getting laid off, gives me a little time to regroup. I'm going to end up on my feet. Same situation, two different perceptions. Their life has ended. And then the other one's like, what a blessing. I get a bit of time off to learn some new skills and find a job I like better. We do not react to life as it is. We react to it as it is through the lens of our mind. So if you stop and think about that a little bit, that applies to everything, absolutely everything in your life that is happening. So we are in a recession. Things are really bad out there. So a lot of people are living in fear, uncertainty, scarcity, apprehension, desperation. And then there's individuals that are business people, and they know that there are more millionaires made in bad times, in recessions, than in the good times. Two people looking at the exact same world, and they see it different. So do you understand that quote that I read at the beginning? If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. It is just a matter of how we see it, how we filter it, and how we make it mean to us. This right here is so powerful. And one of the quotes that I also heard that I got, but get more and more with each passing day and seeing how this journey of life and making money works, is life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. And you could be like, well, that's real rich, Tracy, because this happened, this happened. Do you know what happened in my childhood? I am broke. I am probably going to have to crimp. We can have 100 situations out there. And it's true. And if there's something going wrong in your life, I am so sorry, because that sucks and it's so hard and it's hard to pull yourself out of it. But a quote that stuck with me, it's a Tony Robbins, is life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And what I've come to realize on a few levels is, one, things are going to happen no matter what. We can't prevent it. Bad things, horrible things, great things, magnificent things. But let's focus on the bad, because the good's great, right? Things are going to happen and you can't control it, but you can control the way you respond to it. That's all you can control. So let's take, for example, those two individuals that got laid off. The one girl is horrified, destroyed. And if she doesn't pull herself out of that, she's going to make that mean something to her, that she was horrible, that the company was evil, that people are terrible and like thoughtless and they hate her. They had it. Right? I've known people that are professional victims that can like string a poor me story a mile long when you're like, what? How do you get that? Their perception. Now look at the coworker from the cubicle over that says, yes, what an opportunity. The same thing just happened to those two individuals. One, they have different backgrounds, different personalities, different risk tolerance. Yes, there's a lot there. But it all depends on how you react to it. It's going to happen anyways. And I had this quote, and every time something bad would happen, I would say it. And at first I'm like, ugh, I don't believe this. I don't get it. And the more it would happen, I'm like, okay. Even if it's bad and you can't make sense of how this could possibly be happening for you, a few things to that. You have a choice about how you see it. How you see it, your thoughts and beliefs, we're going to go into reality creation. How you decide to see it and respond to it will determine your future. Totally. But here's another thing I've learned. And I'm not going to get religious or spiritual here, but if you want to go that route, I have spent time looking back and connecting the dots. A good Steve Jobs quote. You cannot connect the dots going forward. You can only connect the dots going backwards. So every time in the past when I was younger and I didn't get a job I really wanted, or I lost this client, or I went to this company, or this, I can look back and whether it's I'm choosing to knit a nice story out of this, probably. I could probably knit a sob story about some of that stuff. But if I truly look back and I go, oh, if that didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have gone there. If I didn't go there, I wouldn't have gone here. And funny enough, everything, whether this is my story or destiny or the creator helping me out, one shall never know. But everything, good and bad, every step, every mistake, every lost client has led to where I am in this moment. And I'm now starting to see the beauty in connecting the dots going backwards. So you react to things from your perception, not from the actual reality. And now, if you go that one step further and say that things are happening for you, not to you, you get out of victim mode and you go, wait a minute, this really sucks, but how can I see the positive? You have two choices. You can fall apart and weave together a victim story, and that'll keep you there stuck and you'll never get anywhere. Or you can go, this really, really, really is not good. It really sucks. Whatever words you want to put in there. But let's find a grain of how this might be helping me. If the negative Nelly that got fired says, oh my God, this is horrible, and I love this company and I plan to be there, if she can just shift herself and say, okay, maybe there's some good out of this. They laid me off and now I can brush up on skills because, maybe I was going to be stuck in that role and I really do need to make a little bit more. So I'm laid off, I get unemployment, and now I can go collect some skills or apply for another job. It's going to be uncomfortable, but right? She's moving herself out of a stuck victim into there's a possibility that this can help me. Where this one's just like rock on. Again, personalities, how you grew up, your bandwidth, so much goes into that. But at the end of the day, it's not how we perceive our reality. It's we perceive the reality based on who we are, our thoughts, our stories, our beliefs, our past conditioning, our past experiences. Okay? This right here is brilliant. Brilliant. Like, and I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I'm not saying that. This is the magic of becoming the creator of your life versus an accidental bystander, a victim of your journey. Because who wants that? Right? So we don't see things how they are. We see them how we are. Number one. Number two, reality creation. And I'll touch on how we've become the person we are, and then how we use reality creation to become the person we want to be. And then we'll go on to number three and how to step into our creatorship to build our dream life and make dream money. So hang in. I know I talk about reality creation a lot, but it's it. That's all there is to it. So let's do it. So reality creation framework states that our thoughts and beliefs create our feelings, create our action, create our results. So each and every day we wake up and we create our reality. The problem is at some point in our life, after we're done schooling, after you get stuck in a job, you tend to go into autopilot. and you stop being an active creator, so to speak. You start getting into cruise control on your own life, and then you forget that you're creating because every day is the same. Groundhog Day, and you can't have dramatically different days, but that is the danger of getting comfortable in a role and settling, if you want to call it. If you are a person with big dreams and you want to make dream money, whatever that means to you, you can't be comfortable where you are unless you're happy with those results. And then, even at that, if you stagnate, sometimes the job outgrows you, life outgrows you, and then you get left behind. So you constantly need to be growing to either excel or to keep up with the energy of life. So your mind, as it sits, has been created by your past programming. Everything from birth to yesterday, or say like 1 minute ago, right? Anything in the past, 1 minute ago to your birth. But most importantly, 98% of your thoughts operate from your subconscious. It's always, we kind of point to the back, the lower part of the brain. That is your autopilot of life. The beliefs and feelings and reactions, the cruise control of your brain. We go into our subconscious thinking 98% of the time. I give this example. People don't like it, but it's a great example. Have you ever gone in a vehicle? Hopefully not in the city, hopefully not anywhere, but you drive to work because it's so routine. You do the same thing, probably same drink, same food, same time, same station. And then you get to work and you're like, how did I get here? You were obviously awake. You were driving. And you know what? You would have reacted, but you went into the cruise control of your mind. Your brain's like, I got this. I know what's happening. And you didn't choose to put it in cruise control. Your brain did. And then you just slipped off into thinking about today's problems or the great day you're going to have or your dream. Your brain goes into autopilot. We spend 98% of our time, our thoughts, in subconscious thinking. So that means if we want to be powerful creators, taking responsibility for our life, and we're only spending 98% or 2% of our thoughts and creatorship in active creation, 98% of our time is on cruise control. Well, what does that mean? We're reliving the past. So when you are 0 to 7 years old, born to 7 years old, that is where you get your subconscious thinking, those 98% of thoughts. You are pretty much fully programmed by the time you are 7. And then anything from that, you are starting to react and confirm and relive the programming of your family. 4th generation welfare. Prime example. Why is welfare not generally a first generation thing? It's because we're operating how we're programmed. So if you came from rich, even if things got bad, you had a different mindset. Chances are you wouldn't end up on welfare. Middle class, same thing. But if you look to an example of 4th generation welfare, the reason people can't get out of that is because you're programmed by the things you hear, by the things you see, everything. So let's say you grow up and there's no picking on anybody. Like we all start at a different spot. That's our starting point. But I give it because it's a prime example and an example of somebody that has to work extra hard to pull themselves out of this. So let's say you grow up in welfare. You grow up in government housing, your area isn't great. I'm just doing all the generalizations here. And forgive me if I'm just blanket statement. Let's not get lost in the weeds. I'm just painting a picture. Everybody's life is different. But generally, if you grow up in welfare, you see it happening all around you. Because chances are you aren't going to visit your rich friends in the mansion. You're hanging out with people of your class, right? And I'm not saying that again to be snobby. That's the way it is. We tend to flock with our people. Same thing with the religion. We hang around with people of our shared beliefs. In an area, you're going to be government housing. You're going to make friends with kids that are from there, and you see all the adults. You see their behavior, you see their thoughts, you see their actions, you hear their words. Whether or not there's any other factors involved, your parents, because of the way they grew up, are going to think a certain way, probably based on the grandparents. Definitely outdated, but your parents are a byproduct of their surroundings. So if you're on welfare or you grew up on welfare, your parents conditioned you with welfare thoughts. And maybe they said beautiful things and helped you come out of that, but it's very hard to be out of your circumstances to help your children get by, right? Because if you're in welfare, you perceive the world as a person on welfare. So how do you offer information to your kids that you don't perceive? Unless you're a rare soul that you do. So if you grew up on welfare, you heard that. This is our lot in life. We're not smart here. You know, the best we can hope for is to get a check and then just live a good life and be grateful. Whatever it is. Middle class has the same thing. And then the rich people have the same thing too. And that's not always a cakewalk for various reasons. So your brain, whether you know it or not, is operating on your family programming. So look at your parents, look at your grandparents, look at your church, look at your community. And whether you know it or not, you're probably living out a lot of that. The answer? Start creating your own reality. If you get new thoughts and beliefs, such as we live in the most abundant time, we have the internet. Anybody could work and put social media accounts up, grow a following, offer a product and service, and create wealth. You don't need a big bank account to be a social media star. You don't even need a big bank account to start your own side hustle. If you're working a job as a graphic designer and then you learn about third-party freelance websites on the internet and you put up profiles and you start getting side jobs while you have your main job and you work on it in the evening, pay down debt, save money, all of a sudden you start building a business, and then soon enough you can quit your job when you have a steady income and you are self-employed. When you get new thoughts and beliefs, you're going to feel different. And there's two things to feeling. You don't get what you want, you get what you are, pardon me. And what you are is your thoughts and beliefs and feelings. You're a vibration. So if you are that negative Sally that thinks the world is out to get her, you're going to get more of that, because all you can focus on and see is that, even though there's opportunity everywhere, lens of perception, right? So if you're looking at life through those thoughts and beliefs and feelings, you're going to take those actions and get those results. But if you can start to hack the system, update the operating system up here on thoughts and beliefs, watch stuff like this, read a book, read biographies of people that have lived extreme desperation and rose to success. If you have insecurity about being a female in the workplace, look up all the women that are rocking it to start conquering that limiting belief of being a female. Let's say you think your nationality can't do it because that is your internal struggle that you're having. Look that up. If you have a slight handicap and you're concerned about it, look up people that have had handicaps that have succeeded, because it's all thoughts and beliefs. Because if we have a mind and a body as a plus that functions, you can create success, because success and money are scientific. They don't care what you look like, what your gender is, what your ability is. If you're short, you're tall, you're fat, you're skinny, you're ugly, you're pretty. Money doesn't care. Your money, if you take out a $20 bill from your wallet, doesn't go, "Oh, you're ugly, Tracy. Like, you can't spend me." Money doesn't care. It's neutral. Success is the same way. It is a byproduct of what we have in here, a knowledge and awareness, a perception, and getting correct information. reality creation. Hack the system, put new knowledge in. You'll start to feel different because you'll be like, wow, even though I grew up poor and I'm poor right now, if I start to do things in a certain way, I can have success. You're going to feel different. And when you feel different, you're going to act different. What does that mean? You're going to start studying. You're going to be on YouTube instead of drinking your miseries away, eating bonbons on the couch, going out all the time. You'll be like, I can do this. I can break this generational poverty curse. It's on me. And as long as I take the steps, I can do it. So you felt different, you acted different, and you're going to start to get new results if you hang with it long enough. For me, I've said this before, it took me 42 years to make Tracy the way she is. My life is beautiful, but if I want to level up, I need to start with new thoughts and beliefs, feelings, actions, and then I'm going to get new results. I've had that happen to me where I get stuck at an income level in my business. Why? Because it's the same Tracy that's operating it. Now all of a sudden I think and believe that I can't get past this point. So I feel that way and I act that way. And then I get the same results, right? If I want to level up and get my next level of income in my media companies, I need new thoughts and beliefs, feelings, new actions, which means getting new information and acting on that. And then I'm going to start to get new results. Everybody. Does that make sense? You create your reality based on everything in the past. So hack the operating system, put new knowledge in, you're going to start to get new results. And if you think of it this way, imagine if this was an iPhone and we're more powerful than an iPhone. But imagine your brain said, Tracy, we're going to upgrade, and we don't want this because we are more powerful than any microchip, any computer, any phone. We don't want to give away our unique sovereignty. When you look at Neuralink and all these things that are coming out, like good riddance. It's proven fact that the human brain is more powerful than any chip that will ever be made. I digress. But imagine, for the context of thinking about it factually, not emotionally, let's say our brain said, do you want to upgrade? There's new apps, new knowledge for your mind. So we click OK. Oh, scares me even talking about this. There's people that want this as our reality, and that would kill the divinity and the beautifulness of mankind, but I digress. So let's go with this, even though I don't like this example. You click OK to upgrade the operating system. You wake up, it cleared all your memories, which would be horrible, but let's go with this for the sake of this example. Let's say you started the day. No past thoughts, beliefs, trauma, no baggage, no limiting beliefs, no judgments from your second grade teacher that said you were an idiot and you'll never amount to anything. There's nothing. What would happen? You'd wake up and you'd be like, I want to build a business. What would happen if that was our normal brain? We'd be like, wow, you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you've tried already, you're a failure, your parents said you can't, your grade 2 teacher said you're dumb, you don't have time, you're tired. That's how your brain works first thing in the morning. Listen to it. When you wake up, first thing it goes to is, who are we? What do we do? What's our problem? Let's focus on that. What are we worried about? That is usually our negative bias programming. So imagine if you woke up with a clean slate. You'd be like, oh, I want to build a business today. There wouldn't be no back talk. And you'd be like, okay, I'm going to do that. How would I do that? Well, I'll go on the internet and look how to do it. No back talk. No negative monkey mind going, you can't do it. You're stupid. Who do you think you are? You come from poverty. None of that. You'd just be like, oh, this is how I do it. And then you just start doing it. And then you'd post and you wouldn't be concerned about failing because you haven't had a failure. You would just create your reality. Isn't that powerful? So the important part, if you want to start a new reality creation circuit where you are the master and not the victim, you got to insert and create new thoughts and beliefs. You got to question your doubts. You got to question your limiting beliefs. That grade 2 teacher that said you were dumb. Are you really dumb, or did you just fail a test? One test. Or you failed a grade. Okay. Maybe you're not academically wise, but you're a brilliant painter. Like, no failure in the past is a failure and a life sentence to you. It is an event that happened, but we create meanings and stories by these hurtful situations and words that were said about us. Erase that. You're not even that 12-year-old kid anymore. Like, you are an adult that went through university, you're working a job, you're smart, but you still have those negative thoughts. What? No, no, let's question that BS. Maybe that teacher got called an idiot when they were in grade 2 and they're taking it out on you. Maybe that teacher saw something in you they liked and they were just spiteful and mean. Maybe they just said something stupid. Maybe they have verbal diarrhea like most people. Opinions, right? You failed a test, failed a grade, a subject. Who cares? We're not all meant to be good. And if you listen to any of my material, most of that is filler subjects, anyways. But yet, that is our conditioning and it's our judgment. We get out of this school and then we graduate with a preformed idea of who we are because of this government programming system with a herd pack structure. And if you're not the bully on the top bullying everybody, you got bullied. Or if you're the geek, you just formed a reality based on an absolute silly system, but that's still in your mind. It's too bad we couldn't just erase those things, right? But it's up to us to go, wait a minute, the teacher's insane. Like, thinking about that teacher as an adult, ooh, or you look them up and you see that whatever's going on in their life, or that bully that bullied you and made you feel inferior and caused you to think that you're a geek and this is your place in the pack of the world. That's garbage. Let's erase that. That's gone. That's BS. Put that to the past. Now, take charge. Look at yourself in the mirror. You might not like yourself. You might be ashamed of yourself. You might hate yourself. You might like yourself. We need to love ourselves because we are truly the only person that's there for us. Not our, we have family and friends, but they can't live your life for you. They cannot create happiness for you. They cannot create results for you. They can't tell you what is meant for you. We need to become our own biggest fan and become the CEO, master of our ship, captain of our destiny, money boss, creator of our reality. And it starts up here, getting new thoughts and beliefs, getting rid of the old ones, feeling different. And I've had several episodes on that as well. But when we start to think and believe differently about us and our past, we get different feelings, we take different actions, we get different results. It's as simple as that. That process doesn't care your gender, your nationality, your physical level, your brilliance, all those things I said that we tend to latch on to, one insecurity that we all have. Reality creation doesn't care about any of that. That's just your story. That's just internal self-sabotage. Money doesn't care about that. Money's a neutral tool. It will just behave according to the laws of money creation, right? So last but least, I've built the case on how we see life, how we are based on our past, based on our perception, react accordingly. And then we reviewed how the reality creation framework works. So we perceive it based on who we are and how we're programmed. Then we feel a way, then we act a way, then we get the results. So we know we need to go in there and hack the thoughts and beliefs. And then once we do that, we'll start to correct the rest of the system. and give it time and give it continuous effort. We can't do something once and expect everything to change. This is a day by day. And then finally, you jump up to the next level, you make more money. It is a slow process. It took you X many years to get to where you are. It took me 42 years to get to where I am. My next level is going to take me a bit. Generally, it doesn't happen tomorrow. I'll be like, oh, if I want this next level in my media companies, I should probably do this and offer this value. And then I can charge this. And then I've got to get the skills, got to practice, got to offer it, got to learn the sales skills, the marketing process. Then I'm going to fail because then I realize it wasn't quite right for this. Then you navigate, then you hit it, then you make a sale, then you're like, I'm rocking. And then you just amplify your marketing and your sales, and then you start succeeding. Black and white, no emotion in there. In the feeling, you got to get a good emotion. But life is impartial to us, the universe. There is no God sentencing us to failure or success. There is nobody sitting on a cloud going, you are horrible. This is not your destiny. The universe, God, everything is there to support you when you start doing things in alignment with the laws and in alignment with how money and reality is created. So the most important thing to stepping into your creatorship is stepping into it, going, holy smokes, Tracy, you just blew my mind. I hope I did, because this has taken me a long time to learn. And the intricacies of this, me going through this process every day for the last 18 years, is finally the output I'm giving you. So going, wait a minute, I've been living life in the back seat. And then I graduated and then I got in the passenger seat, but I'm still expecting my boss to kind of notice me and promote me and, pick me. And then I'm kind of defaulting to my spouse about how I want our reality to be. So I'm still sitting in the passenger seat. Take a cue out of Tracy's card, get out of the passenger seat, hop into the driver's seat, grab the steering wheel, set your destination, and drive. And drive. Create, right? That's all there is to it. Step into your creatorship. If you're a victim, you're going to get victim results. If you are a powerful creator, that's what you're going to do. It's not all going to be roses, but you say to yourself that you are the hero in your own journey, not the victim. Whatever happened, you may have been a victim of a horrendous crime. Old news, change the channel. Fresh day. Like literally, you can step into a new day and be a new person. Start fresh, right? But we don't think that way. We're just conditioned to like a slow boil, kind of that frog analogy. You do a slow boil to your life. You do a slow creatorship that is so slow you don't realize you're really doing it. I've given extreme examples. You hate your job, you hate your boss. You continue to go, you feel stuck, you're trapped. And especially as we get older, it tends to become stale, stuck. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I've peaked. I've reached my limit. I thought I was keen. Here, don't do this. But you could go into work, punch your boss, punch your boss in the stomach, and then leave. Well, you don't have to punch him. Just leave. Just quit your job. What I'm trying to say, we're so stuck in the reality that we live in our stories, in the repetition, because repetition will imprint it into your brain so firmly that it's almost impossible to get out, especially if you don't have the awareness or the knowledge of how to get out. But you literally do not need to show up for work tomorrow. I'm not giving you permission. You'll probably get fired and you won't have any money, but you actually have a choice. Isn't that weird? We tend to think we're being forced to go there. Well, yeah, if you want your paycheck, but you're a creator. You chose the job. You show up. Show up as a creator, not a victim. Isn't that insane? We just don't think that way. So step into your creatorship. Become the hero in your journey, not the victim, or else that's what you're going to get more of. And don't forget, you are an unlimited, powerful creator. If you master reality creation each and every day, you're going to start to build your dream life and make dream money, whatever that means to you. I hope this has given you so much hope. You truly are an unlimited, powerful creator. You just don't know it. And I hope this material is starting to help you see the possibilities that are possible for you. Don't forget it. You're an unlimited, powerful creator. See you next time.